All right. Okay, so we're going to start in a comfortable seated position, like I said. So we'll just start with a little bit of breathing. We'll bring our awareness into our body. And so, if cross legged is a comfortable position for you to start in today, you're welcome to meet me there. If you want to take your legs out long or maybe bend the knees and plant the feet because that's more comfortable, feel free to do that. And then when we get moving and start doing our spinal twists, I'll have you pull the feet in, but I'll let you know when we get there. So, like I said, getting started, we're just going to focus in on our breathing. So, what I want you to do is we're going to take a scan of the body. We're going to move from the top of the head down to the tips of the toes. As we move down through the body, all we're going to do is just kind of bring an awareness without any judgment to how we're feeling today. If there's maybe any points of tension, maybe we're a little bit sore or tired. And like I said, that's without judgment. So we're just going to send some exhales there and bring a little bit deeper of a relax thoughts. So, like I said, we're going to start from the top of the head. So just noticing as we travel down, maybe where you hold tension. I know a lot of times I hold it in my jaw and in the muscles in my face. So notice there if there's any tension through the muscles in the face and the jaw. Moving down to the shoulders, maybe they're a little bit scrunched up, allowing them to relax down away from the ears and give them a moment to relax. Move down through the arms, from the biceps and the triceps, down into the forearms, to those fingers. Notice if any tension is trapped down in there. Moving through that torso, noticing if maybe your upper or lower back is feeling a little bit tense today from sitting maybe in a chair that's not as friendly or as comfortable as your normal office chair is. We're making do with what we have and work from home. So just sending a little bit of love in that direction and exhale in that direction and noticing if that tension is building up there in a way that it doesn't normally. Moving down through those hips and into the glutes, through the legs, the quads, the hamstrings, the shins, noticing there, down into the tips of your toes. And like I said, we're going to take a couple of deep breaths coming up here. With every inhale, I want you to think a little bit about your posture. Think about lengthening through your spine, out through the top of your head, but keeping the shoulders relaxed away from the ears. With your exhales here, I want you to try and send them to those points of tension that maybe you found, allowing them a little bit deeper of relaxation. I'm going to take three nice, easy inhales and exhales here. So same thing like I said with that inhale, thinking about that posture, thinking about that little bit of length. With that exhale, finding that relaxation. Two more. Nice big exhale for relaxation. One more just like that. Finding an inhale, a little bit of extra length through the spine. And an exhale, letting those shoulders relax a little bit more. Finding those points of tension, releasing them. All right, so now is where we're going to start to connect our breath to our movements. You're going to find that maybe your breath deepens a little bit. So if you have those legs long or the knees bent and the feet planted, I invite you to pull them into cross. They can be a little bit loosely crossed if that's more comfortable for you, or you can bring them into stacked. We're just going to use those knees for a little bit of support as we flow side to side. So if you've been in class before with me, we've done this before. With our inhale, we're going to find that nice long spine and center, extending out through the top of the head. With your exhale, we're going to take that left hand, we're going to bring it around to the outside of that right leg. We're going to bring that right hand around behind, looking over that right shoulder or over towards that right wall, opening up those shoulders in that rightward direction, finding this little bit of a twist. We're going to find three more breaths over here. So with your inhale, I want you to find a little more length through the spine. With your exhale, I want you to see if you could find a little bit deeper of a twist, taking it maybe a half a centimeter or a centimeter further, twice more, just like that. Inhale, a little bit longer of a spine. Exhale, a little bit deeper of a twist. And then one more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, find that twist. With your next inhale, we're going to pull it through center and switch sides. So big inhale, find that long spine in center. Big exhale, take that hand to the outside of that opposite leg, and then over that left shoulder, taking that left hand around behind, finding those shoulders opening up in that direction. Same thing here. We're going to find three nice deep breaths. With that inhale, a little bit of length through the spine. With that exhale, a little bit deeper of a twist. Twice more on this side. Inhale, a little bit of length. Exhale, a little bit deeper. And then once more, inhale, a little bit of lift. Exhale, a little bit deeper. Now we're really going to connect our movement to our breath here with that inhale, come through center. With each exhale, we're going to move side to side. So every time that you exhale, bringing it towards one side. Every time that you inhale, bringing it through center, trying to find a little bit of extra length through that spine. Nice. So maybe you're moving a little bit faster or slower than me. That's okay today. We're all breathing at maybe a little bit different of a pace. So if I'm moving a little bit too fast for you and you want a deeper stretch, feel free to take that for a moment. We're moving a little bit slow and it feels good to get moving a little bit more. You can move a little bit faster. We're going to go just a couple more times here before we change it up. And give me once more in each direction. After you finish that second one, coming back to center, finding that nice long spine. All right, so we're going to change up our foot positioning a little bit. We're going to find a mermaid, so a lateral stretch. I'm going to start facing here. When we adjust into our next movement, I'm going to turn to face so you guys can see me from the side. But if you want to face the short edge of your mat so you don't have to turn, feel free to make that adjustment here. I'm going to keep my right leg folded in here. I'm going to take my left leg and I'm going to bring it around to kind of a modified 90-90. So you don't have to quite have both of those legs at 90 degrees. I like them a little bit closer towards my body. It feels more comfortable. If closer out to 90 feels better for you, then that's where we can go. We're just going to kind of move side to side. So one direction you'll find is going to be a little bit tougher to get that stretch in and move in that direction. The other side is obviously going to be a little bit easier. We're going to start in the side that's a little bit tougher to go in that direction. So taking that hand down to the mat, and that opposite hand up over top. And same thing, we're going to move with the pace of our breath and flow side to side. So as you inhale and come through center, those arms can just come nice and low, or they can come up nice and tall. And then I'm going to bring my elbow actually all the way down to the mat on this side because it's a little easier to find that range of motion. So once again, just moving with the pace of your breath, bringing it side to side, finding that nice lateral stretch. This is another one that always feels really good after a long day of sitting, getting that spine moving a little bit side to side. Nice. With that inhale, making sure you're coming up as tall as you can with that spine. Those nice comforting sirens in the background. Nice. Give me twice more here, once more in each direction. When you finish that second side, coming up nice and tall, and then you can circle those arms down and around. So this is where I'm going to turn to face. If you have a little bit of space behind you and you want to stay facing the same direction that you're already in, feel free. We're just going to adjust into our pigeon here. So my front foot is already folded in. I'm just going to shift up and bring that other foot back nice and long. So I've got my front foot. The more intense is going to be the shin closer to parallel with the mat. The less intense, the foot folds in a little bit further, sitting down through those hips. And we're going to spend just a moment here. So if it feels good for you to come down to those elbows, you can. If it feels good to get that little bit of a stretch through the upper body and stay up tall, you can. We're just going to take 2 nice deep breaths in this position here. So finding that big inhale. And then a big exhale. Like I said, just 2 here. So 1 more big inhale. And then a big exhale. All right, so if you found those elbows or you brought it all the way down to that mat, I want you to find those palms. We're going to adjust our position into a low lunge. So curl that back toe under, lift that back knee, little pressure through the palms. I'm going to sweep this foot a little bit backwards and then step it forward to find my lunge, making sure that the knee is right over the ankle. We're going to bring it down low here, so I want you to drop that back knee, turn the top of that foot to face the mat. Then we're just going to find a little flow forward to backward. With that exhale, I want you to press a little further forward. Find that nice stretch through the hip flexor. As you inhale, we're going to shift the hips back and bring those front toes up, finding our half split, finding our hamstring stretch. So once again, I want you to flow at your own pace. A nice exhale to bring you forward and find that hip flexor stretch. A nice inhale to bring you backward and find that half split or that hamstring stretch. So just moving a couple of times in each direction, finding what feels good for you. Maybe you spend an extra moment in one direction or the other if one is particularly tight today. From sitting all day, my hips start to get a little bit tight. So it's nice to shift forward and find that extra moment in that low lunge, pressing it forward. Give me 2 more nice deep breaths, so twice more in each direction here. When you finish, we're gonna meet in that low lunge. So pressing it forward, find those palms. Once again, we're gonna find our first down dog of the day up next. So once you find that low lunge, little pressure through all 10 fingers, taking a little bit of it out of the wrists, curl that back to under, lift that knee, bring that front foot back to meet that back leg, hips up and back, finding a nice stretch through those hamstrings and those calves. So maybe you start with a nice bend in those knees. Maybe we're going to spend a moment here, so maybe you take a second and pedal out those heels, finding a little bit of a stretch in each direction, bringing the ears between the biceps. We've got a nice long line from those wrists up to those hips, and then almost a nice long line from those hips down to those heels, depending on what you did with those legs. All right, from here, nice and soft, we're gonna drop those knees and we're gonna find our cat and cow for 3 breaths. So the knees come right under the hips. Maybe you adjust those hands. We've got our cat and cow flowing with our breath. With your inhale here, I want you to drop the belly towards the floor and look up towards the ceiling. With your exhale, I want you to pull the spine up towards the ceiling, tuck the chin in towards the chest. Same thing for 2 more nice deep breaths. Inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the chin. Exhale, pulling the spine towards the ceiling, tucking the chin towards the chest. One more time, just like that. And that exhale to bring it back down. And then I want you to come to a nice neutral position. Now we're going to find our lateral bending once again, but we're going to be from this hands and knees position. I'm going to flow just a couple of times with the pace of your breath. I want you to look over that right shoulder and bring that right hip up towards your gaze. So it's just a really tiny range of motion. And then as we inhale, we're going to find that length through center and then turning in that opposite direction, looking over that opposite shoulder, bringing your hip up the other way. So we're kind of moving the head and the hips to meet each other on each side. We're finding a little bit of length in each direction, just flowing a couple of times here with your breath, inhaling through center and exhaling to either side. Go ahead, find once more in each direction for me. And then when you're done, bringing it back to center, and then we're just gonna shift those hips back, and then we're gonna find our mermaid with our other leg. So I just kind of sat my hips down in between, but I have to trade my legs. So I'm gonna bring it around so that left leg is in front this time, bringing that other leg to our 90-90 here, or that slightly modified version. Once again, we're gonna start towards the side that's a little tougher, flowing with our breath, exhaling down to that side with the hand down, big inhale through center, and then exhale in either direction. Once again, you're welcome to move a little bit faster or slower than I am. Like I said, our breathing's all a little bit different of a pace, maybe. Making sure you're finding that long spine through center. Then we're going to find once more in each direction here. So 2 more nice deep breaths. When you finish that second one, find that big inhale back to center and then bring those arms down and around. Once again, I'm going to turn to face the short edge of my mat. So if you turned back to face, go ahead and join me. My front foot is already folded in. I'm just going to adjust back into my pigeon on this side. So sitting those hips down through center. And once again, we're going to spend 2 nice deep breaths here. So you can have those hands down on the mat, or you can bring it down to those elbows. Nice big inhale. And then finding that exhale. Once more, big inhale. And another big exhale. All right, we're gonna bring it into our low lunge up next. So if you found those elbows, go ahead, bring it up to the palms. We're curling that back to under, lift that knee. We're bringing this opposite foot forward into our lunge. And then once again, we're gonna bring it low. So drop that back knee, let the top of that back foot meet the floor. We've got our forward to backward flow. Exhale to press forward. Inhale to shift those hips back, find that half split, that nice stretch through the hamstrings. Once again, moving a couple of times at your own pace. Finding your breathing. And the same thing on this side. If it feels good to stay in one direction for an extra moment, we'll be here for another couple of breaths. So feel free to take that extra second in one direction or the other if it feels good. Maybe this side feels a little bit different than the other side. That's okay. Taking a moment to, just as we started with, notice it without any judgment. Just give it an extra breath today. All right, give me one more time in each direction. And then we'll meet in that forward lunge. We're gonna bring it back to our down dog. So curling that back to under, find a little pressure through those palms and all 10 fingertips. Bringing that back knee up and then bringing that front foot back to meet the other. Once again, we're gonna spend just a moment in our down dog here, and then we're gonna get moving just a little bit faster. So I know last week, if you were with me, we did a couple of more complicated moves. I wanted to keep it kind of simple today, just kind of get us moving, get our heart rate up with a little bit of flow. So I'm going to go through these a little bit slow the first time. If you want to get moving a little bit faster, I'll give us some time to move just at your own pace. But we're going to start with just a little bit of forward and backward shifting. So from our down dog here, we've got two options to move into. So I'm starting in this down dog with my hips pressed up nice and far towards the ceiling, up and back. My ears are between my biceps. Our first option is going to be shifting from here to our child's pose and then back in. So we'll shift forward just a little bit, drop those knees, keeping those toes curled under, shifting the hips back. So a nice stretch for those feet, and then just kind of bringing it back and forth. So we've got our down dog into our child's pose just a couple of times. If you want to take it up a notch and find a little bit more tension through those legs, rather than bringing those knees all the way down, we're just going to bend at the knees and shift those hips back. So you get a really similar stretch, but the knees float, so it's a little bit higher intensity. Whichever of those two feels good for you today, I invite you to just join me moving a little bit between them. So at whatever kind of pace you need, just shifting the hips forward and backward, finding that stretch, and then finding that little bit of a stretch for the bottom of the feet and for the lower back. Once again, maybe a little faster or slower than me today is what works for you. That's okay. Maybe you take an extra moment in that child's pose because it feels good. Maybe you give those wrists a little bit of a break because it feels good. Or maybe you keep that intensity up and we're just kind of flowing forward to backward, bending those knees and extending those legs. Give me 3 more breaths here. Big inhale and an exhale. Nice. Big inhale and an exhale. One more time, whatever pace you're moving. Big inhale and an exhale. Wherever you are, meet me in a down dog with your next inhale. And then we're going to take a second in child's pose. So drop those knees to the mat. This time, the top of those feet meet the mat. Sit those hips back towards the heels. Take a second to let a little pressure off of those wrists. Maybe you bend at the elbows and bring the hands to the shoulders, finding a nice stretch through the triceps. Maybe you walk those hands side to side, finding a nice stretch laterally as we have a couple of times already today. We'll be spending 3 more nice deep breaths in this child's pose. When you finish that third nice deep breath, I want you to move it back into our down dog. We'll meet there. I've got 1 more breath here, and then I'll be shifting up. So when you're ready, putting a little pressure through all 10 fingers, curling those toes under, press those hips up and back. All right, so we're gonna find a flow that we found a couple of times already over the past week or so. So once again, if you've been with me, you might recognize this. I'm gonna go through it kind of slow the first time through, and then we'll just keep it going. So it's a pretty basic set of moves. For this first one, we've got an inhale to find a little bit more length here in our down dog. So pressing those hips up and back, a little pressure through the fingers. 2 ranges of motion with our exhale. We're going to shift the shoulders out over the wrists. And we're going to lower through our chaturanga. This can be from your toes or from your knees, whichever is better. When you inhale, we've got a low cobra, we've got a cobra, or we've got an up dog, whichever of those works for you today. We're going to turn those toes over and press those hips up and back with that exhale. From there, we're going to step forward. So if you didn't find this down dog here, go ahead and meet me there. And then we're going to step those feet forward to meet those hands. I want you to bring those big toes nice and close together. With an inhale, we're going to find our halfway lift, nice flat back, long spine. With your exhale, I want you to fold forward. This time with our inhale, we're going to find our chair pose. So those feet are close together. We're sitting those hips back. We're sweeping those arms up. Nice big inhale. We're holding here for 3, 2, 1. With your next inhale, stand it up tall, arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, swan dive forward, forward fold. Once again, we've got our halfway lift with our inhale, long spine, flat back. Exhale, forward fold, plant those hands. We're going to step those feet back into our high plank, and then we're going to press those hips up and back into that downward dog. So that's our basic flow. We're going to stick with that 3 more times here. So I'm going to move at about that pace. If it feels good for you to move a little bit faster or slower, we'll always meet in this down dog. Or maybe today you're just feeling like a child's pose. Feel free to drop those knees and set those hips back towards the heels at any point. All right, so I'm going to keep it going. We've got 3 more times through. Big inhale, hips up and back, nice and long through that down dog. Exhale, 2 ranges of motion, shoulders out over the wrists, lower down through our chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, cobra or low cobra. Exhale, turn those toes over, press those hips up and back, down dog. We're stepping those feet forward to meet those hands here. Nice exhale, feet close together. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, long spine. Exhale, fold forward. We've got our chair up next. Sit those hips back. Inhale, sweep the arms up. We've got a 3, 2, 1. Inhale, bring it up nice and tall. Exhale, fold it forward. Halfway lift here. Inhale, long spine, flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant those hands, step those feet back, press the hips up and back into our down dog. Here's where we're meeting at the end. We've got twice more through just like that. Same thing as before. Big inhale, nice long spine. Exhale, float the shoulders out over the wrists and lower down through your chaturanga. Inhale to press up, cobra, low cobra, up dog. Exhale, turn those toes over, press those hips up and back. We're stepping the feet forward to meet the hands, nice and close together. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Chair pose here, sit those hips back. Inhale, bring it up. We've got our 3, 2, 1. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift with that next inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant those hands, step those feet back, high plank, push those hips up and back, down dog. Taking just a second here so that we can give a second to meet. Once again, you've always got that option to drop those knees and find your child's pose. Last time through, just like this. Inhale, nice long spine, hips up and back. Exhale, float the shoulders out over the wrists and lower down. Inhale to press up. Nice stretch through the front side body. Exhale, turn those toes over. Press those hips up and back. From there, our exhale brings our feet forward to meet our hands, nice and close together. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, long spine. Exhale, fold forward. We've got our chair pose next. Sit those hips back. Inhale, bring that chest up. Bring those arms up for 3, 2, 1. Inhale up tall. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward, plant those hands, step those feet back, high plank, press those hips up and back, down dog. Now that was 4 times through. If you'd like to take a little break here and drop those knees, give those wrists a nice little break. I'm gonna take just a moment. If you wanna keep that intensity up, you're welcome to flow through one more time, or maybe you just drop it into your dolphin, give those wrists a little break, but keep that core engaged. Wherever you need to be today, we're gonna take 3 more nice deep breaths from whichever of those positions you chose. Two more nice deep breaths. Maybe you need to change positions here. That's okay. And one more big inhale and exhale. All right, if you drop those knees and set those hips back, or if you drop those elbows, let's bring it back up to our down dog. We're just gonna add a little bit to this flow here. So we're sticking to right what we had before for one more time until we get back to our chair pose. So I want you to find an inhale, find a little bit of length through that spine. Exhale, float the shoulders out over the wrists and lower down. Inhale to press up, cobra, low cobra, up dog. Exhale to turn those toes over, press those hips up and back. We're stepping our feet forward with our exhale. Feet nice and close together. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine, flat back. Exhale to fold forward. We've got our chair pose here. So go ahead, sit those hips back. Inhale to lift those arms for 3, 2, 1. Inhale to stand it up tall, and we're gonna find our fold forward. This is where it changes here. So rather than finding our halfway lift, we're gonna find a warrior 2 up next. So I'm gonna step so that I can open towards you. You can choose whichever foot first. I'm gonna take my left foot back, almost into our lunge, and then I'm gonna turn that heel down. From here, my same side arm as that leg I stepped back is gonna cartwheel up, and we're gonna bring it up into our warrior 2. My front knee stays bent, nice and long from fingertip to fingertip. We're gonna reverse our warrior here, turn that front palm over, lift that palm up and back. That hand can come to that back leg. It can just open up on either side. We're finding a nice stretch through the front side body. We're gonna cartwheel all the way down, leading with that front arm. It comes down to the mat. That back hand comes down to the mat. That back heel comes up. We're gonna step that back foot forward to meet that front foot. We've got our chair pose one more time before we switch sides here. Sit those hips back. Inhale to pull those arms up. 3, 2, 1. Inhale up tall. Exhale to fold forward. Same thing on that other side. So we've got our warrior 2 on that other side. Stepping that opposite foot back. That heel comes down and opens up. We're leading with that same side as that back leg to cartwheel those arms up. Nice and long from fingertip to fingertip. Turn that front palm over, reverse it, up and back, peaceful warrior. Nice and long through the front side of the body. Exhale to cartwheel all the way down. Bringing both hands down, bringing that back heel up. Step it forward to meet that foot. And then we've got one more chair before we bring it down. Inhale, that chair pose. 3, 2, 1. Stand it up nice and tall. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, we've got a halfway lift, nice long spine, flat back. Exhale to fold forward, plant those hands, step those feet back to our high plank. Press those hips up and back, down dog. We're gonna take 2 nice deep breaths here. If you wanna drop those knees for a moment, you're welcome to. Nice big inhale. And a big exhale. One more nice deep breath there, big inhale. And a big exhale. If you drop those knees, go ahead and meet me back in that down dog. We're gonna find that one more time. I'm gonna add to it one more time. Inhale, nice long spine. Exhale, float the shoulders out over the wrists and lower down. Inhale to press up, up dog, cobra, low cobra. Exhale, turn those toes over, press those hips up and back. Stepping those feet forward with our next exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, chair pose up next. Sit those hips back. Inhale, lift those arms, open up through the chest. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, stand it up tall. Exhale to forward fold. Okay, we're still gonna bring it back into our warrior 2 here. So I want you to take that first side and step it back. I want you to open that heel, and we're gonna cartwheel those arms up into our warrior two, meeting me here. So we're going to take a second, nice bend through that front knee. Once again, that back foot, the heel is down, but it's facing almost the same direction as the short edge of that mat. Nice and long from fingertip to fingertip. I want you to take a moment and glance out over those fingertips, find that nice strong positioning, find that little bit of tension through that front leg. All right, we're gonna find our dancing warrior up next. This is one of my favorite little flows, forward to backward. So what we're gonna do is our peaceful warrior first. So turn that front palm over and bring it up and back. So I like to take my back arm for my dancing warrior and shift it in front of my body and kind of press it forward. So my palm faces that front wall instead of down towards the floor, but that front arm is still up and back. Now I'm gonna shift here, my hips back and my front toe is gonna come up, my back knee is gonna bend. So my back knee bends, my front toe comes up, front leg lengthens, my arms switch. So I'm gonna take that opposite arm, it's gonna press towards that back wall. The other side comes up over top, I've got a nice stretch. I'm gonna take it one more time forward, then I'm gonna let you guys kind of move at your own pace. So bringing those toes down, back into our peaceful. And then from here, you can just kind of move at your own pace. Take a second, we'll switch sides in a moment. So it's just a little forward to backward range of motion. I kind of feel like I'm doing a fun little version of Tai Chi or my own little dance here. So I kind of like to get into it a little bit. If you want to take it a little slower, maybe just find that warrior two and just find it there. That is also okay today. Wherever you're at is awesome. Nice. We're going to take 3 more nice deep breaths here, whatever pace you're moving at. When you finish that third nice deep breath, I want you to bring it back into your peaceful. So that front arm comes up, front toes meet the mat, and then we're going to cartwheel those arms down. So that front arm comes all the way down, back arm comes down to meet, that back heel comes up. I'm going to step it forward to meet that front one. We're going to skip our chair here and just go right to that other side. So my opposite leg steps back. We've got our warrior two, the heel comes down. We cartwheel those arms up. Nice and long from fingertip to fingertip, nice little bends through that front knee. Taking it into our peaceful or our reverse, turn that hand over, it comes up and back, and then you can adjust that back hand so that it comes across in front of the body, if that feels good here. So my palm faces that front wall, and then we've got our little dance here. So I'm gonna shift it backwards, my front toes come up, my back arm comes up and over, my back knee bends, and then just kind of finding your balance and your flow on this side. Same thing, moving a little bit side to side, taking it at your own pace. We have just a couple minutes left here. I'm going to take our time on this one, and then we'll bring it down to our final breaths. Awesome job, you guys. Maybe you just take an extra second in one position. Find 3 more nice deep breaths for me here. When you finish that third deep breath, we're going to meet in our peaceful once again. So that front arm comes up, we're reversing it, and then we're going to bring it all the way down. So cartwheel it down to the mat, bring that back heel up. This time we're going to step our front foot back to meet our back leg. So we've got our down dog. Go ahead, drop those knees down to the mat, nice and wide, sit those hips back, child's pose. I'm going to take a moment here. Give me 3 nice deep breaths in our child's pose. Once again, you're welcome to bend those elbows and bring the hands up to the shoulders. Maybe you walk those hands side to side for a moment. All right. And when you're ready, if you found that side to side, bring those hands back to center. I'm gonna walk my hands in and sit it up. I'm just gonna shift over so that I'm not sitting on my heels. If this is a comfortable position for you, you can stay right there. I'm just gonna cross my legs so that I'm back in my comfortable seated position. If yours is a little bit different, totally okay. I'm gonna finish out with 2 nice deep breaths here. So whenever you're ready and centered, we're gonna lead with those arms. As we inhale, I want you to bring it out and up. I want you to find that left wrist with that right hand. We're gonna come up over top. Big inhale through center. Switch that side. One more big inhale back to center. Exhale, bring it down and around. Interlace or place those hands behind the hips. Open up through the chest. Big inhale, big exhale to release. Okay, one more nice deep breath. We're leading with those arms. Inhale out and up. Find those palms meeting at the top. Exhale, pull it down through heart center. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. I hope you enjoyed. Once again, my name is Sarah. I welcome any feedback that you guys have. The light in me honors the light in you, bowing as we say, namaste. All right, thanks you guys. Happy Monday. Have a great
Thank you,
rest of your
Sarah.
evening.